the last decades, we've seen superhero films evolve tremendously. While there have been some setbacks and disappointments, Spider-Man 3. One thing you can't argue about is that after all the trials and errors, we have finally entered a stage of superhero cinema greatness. We have learned from our mistakes in the past, and we now know how to make solid and entertaining superhero movies that will please the majority of the moviegoers, if not all of them. And this movie, quite possibly, threw us back to square one. And after the monstrosity that was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, otherwise known as Jessica Alba in a Hannah Montana wig, the Fantastic Four film series seemed to have ended its run, and for good reasons too. The 2005 movie and the 2007 follow-up were such a huge middle finger to all the comic book fans and moviegoers who did not want their intelligence to be insulted, that Fox made a smart decision to discontinue the franchise before it got out of hand. Fast forward 10 years later, we now have a rebooted Fantastic Four movie centered around a group of teenage version of the heroes. When I was first aware that this movie was being made, my initial reaction was very underwhelmed. For those of you who know me, I hate reboots. I don't think they are a good idea, and they usually aren't. But after seeing the cast list of this movie, Miles Teller as Reed Richards, Kate Mara as Sue Storm, Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm, and Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, I became cautiously optimistic about it. And then I saw the director of Chronicle was attached to this project. I started to get a little hopeful. And I was like, maybe I judged this movie too quickly. Maybe this could work. Maybe this is the fantastic movie that we deserve. I gotta say, after seeing this new Fantastic, that's what it says on the poster, I wanted to punch myself for not standing on my own grounds and being swayed by flashy promos. I had never wanted my money back for any movie. Ever. Not even the shitty Twilight films. Yes, I paid to see them in theaters. And I had never hated any summer blockbuster more than I had despised this god-awful piece of shit. So many things went wrong. Man, where do I even start? From the beginning, this movie felt off. The backstory took way too much of the screen time. When an under 2-hour movie is still doing expositions after 10 minutes, you know something's wrong. And then we're slowly and boringly introduced to all of the main characters with paper-thin personalities and generic characterizations. And then we get to see them work in montages that nobody cared about. And then we get to see them interact in conversations that nobody cared about. And by that point, 40 minutes have already gone by, and I was like, when are they gonna pick up the pace? And over an hour and some cringe-worthy dialogues later, we finally got to the meaty part of the story. And I was like, about damn time, let's see some action. And then, the movie fucking ended. I kid you not, this was exactly how the whole experience was for me. I feel like I was watching a pilot episode of a TV show rather than a big-budget Hollywood movie. It had all those build-ups and so very little satisfaction. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with movies that spend their times with expositions. But this one did it by sacrificing meaningful character development and assuming that the audience would care for them during the climax. And it didn't help that there was a serious lack of chemistry between all of the main characters. There was a part when they attempted to have Johnny acknowledge Sue in some cutesy brotherly way that just felt so flat that it was downright laughable. In fact, a lot of conversations that Fantastic had were very unintentionally funny. For a movie determined to be different from its predecessors by being all dark and gritty, it sure didn't know how to keep the tone consistent without testing the audience patience. I swear, it was very trying to get through this movie the further it went along. It was almost like the writers got stuck halfway through and was like, oh wait, we gotta figure out a way to end this thing. This leads us to the final act of the movie, if there was any. The supposed climax to this film felt it was shot at the last minute and squeezed it into the film so they can have an ending. It was everything a superhero movie ending shouldn't be. It was cliched, uninspired, and cartoony. The 5-minute third arc to Fantastic makes the ending to X-Men: The Last Stand and Spider-Man 3 look like masterpieces. And that's unfortunately saying a lot. So much build up and so little payoff. And I think that was the biggest downfall to this film. That plus an uneven pacing and inconsistent tone just made this film doomed from the start. Of course, the movie can still be watchable no matter how poorly written and executed if the CGI is on par. And while The Thing looked worlds better than the 2005 version, the same cannot possibly be said for the rest of the film. The special effects might as well have been made in 1997 because they look mind-bogglingly unfinished. Did they not have time to finish post-production or something? Because this is 2015. We are living in a post-Lord of the Rings and Life of Pi world. Special effects this shitty should not have existed in a summer blockbuster. The special effects make the fire on fucking Katniss Everdeen's sparkly dress in the first Hunger Games look Oscar-worthy. I don't want to go into spoilers, but there was a scene when Reed Richards' face was morphing back from someone else's. Because, you know, his muscle stretches and all. And it was like watching a test CGI footage made by a recently graduated visual effects student. I cannot decide which is worse, that one shot of his CGI face, or The Rock from The Mummy Returns. If there's a course called Bad Movie Crafting 101, this and Green Lantern should be used as shining examples. What saddens me the most is that with the success of MCU and the recent resurgence with Fox's X-Men movies, a film like this could have easily been a neat little closing piece to a spectacular summer movie season that kicked off with Age of Ultron. If the studio heads had paid more attention to the blatantly unpolished script and had been more scrutinized with the visual effects team, disasters like this wouldn't have happened. But instead, we get a movie that sets the bar of a superhero movie to a record low. This is overall a very depressing and disappointing superhero film, and despite its potential, it did not live up to an ounce of that. And after Mission Impossible blew everyone out of the water last week, this lame follow-up is almost like a bad joke. I would give Fan 4 Stick a 2 out of 10. Because despite its horrendousness, it managed to pull off a joke or two at the beginning, and I sort of chuckled. Normally, I would ask you guys to comment down below and let me know what y'all think of the movie. But in this case, I am asking you to save your money and preserve your sanity and just go see Mission Impossible again. So until next time, peace!